Hi everybody, welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown. We're going to take a look at every single board game campaign finishing up in the next week, or that's usually what I say, but today, I don't know. I don't know if it's every single campaign. Usually I try to cover everything. Today, Kickstarter's been malfunctioning in its search feature, and so I may not be as thorough as I tend to be, but we still got a bunch of campaigns thanks to essentially where I started getting my information before I went to Kickstarter directly in this Crowdfunding Countdown session. This is actually this section of where Crowdfunding Countdown, the name Crowdfunding Countdown comes from, is because I saw it here on Board Game Geek, and I was like, oh, I'll just cover everything that Board Game Geek is showing. But I think you have to pay for this to appear on Board Game Geek. I don't think they actually just pull from Kickstarter. I think you actually do pay, and that's why there is like a featured project, right? A promoted one. So maybe you just have to pay for the one that's promoted. I think you have to pay for all of them, honestly. From when I looked at Board Game Geek's like ad structure when we were thinking about doing WSBG ads. But yeah, so I just pulled essentially, thanks to Board Game Geek or the people who unfortunately paid for it. And then GameFound also has the sort by end date still working because GameFound is great. So that's where I'm getting my list from this week. So my point being, if there are things that I've missed that you want me to cover, that you want me to read the rule book for, be sure to drop them in the comments. Again, as you know, if they're finishing up in this week, from the 23rd to the 30th of September. I'm recording this before I go for WSBG, and I will be in the midst of the World Series of Board Gaming right now. But I'll be back, hopefully, I mean, hopefully WSBG doesn't take my soul out of my body. And if it doesn't, then I'll be back and I'll, be hard at work getting more crowdfunding campaigns for you. But yeah, that's just a little a note about where the list is coming from today. But before we begin, also, I'm going to give a huge shout out to my newest patron, Ben. Thanks so much for jumping back on board, man. You don't have to. Ben, you're the best. You don't have to support the channel anymore. You've done enough. I appreciate you. But yeah, I appreciate jumping on. And when people jump in and out of Patreon, depending upon when funding and financing allows, I'm super appreciative of it. I love seeing familiar names come back and then leave and come back, and it's very meaningful to me. So anyway, thanks. Shout out to Ben. And shout out to all my patrons for, again, funding the channel, keeping me pushing ahead, keeping the channel moving forward, even with my other conflicts. So let's get into the week. And we're starting off with a big one, probably the biggest one of the week, but that's just how it falls in the order. We have Andromeda's Edge Genesis. This is the expansion for Andromeda's Edge as you battle new raiders, discover uncharted regions, and command unique factions. Do you have what it takes to thrive at the Edge? Andromeda's Edge is sort of a re-implementation of Dwellings of Eldervale. Seems very similar to Dwellings of Eldervale, although I'm sure there are some unique differences, and I think between the two, Andromeda's Edge is probably the better version because it is the second iteration of Dwellings of Eldervale. I wasn't a huge fan of Dwellings of Eldervale when I played it. I only played it the once. The box was too big for me to keep and play it again. Really is what happened. I said, no, I'm not going to be able to take this to people's houses. I don't see people coming over to play this game specifically. It's got to leave my house is essentially what happened there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Andromeda's Edge Genesis apparently adds to the game. I was looking in my Discord because I know a lot of people have Andromeda's Edge for anyone's thoughts, but I didn't see many people's thoughts about what they were doing or backing it, and so I don't really have the community's outlook on which to draw. I know people have been enjoying it. In the Rabies, it won sort of best medium weight game, or at some point it's the annual Room and Board Awards. So I know people have been enjoying the game, but people like Dwellings of Eldervale as well. So let's take a look at what this one has in store for us. Okay, so what is Genesis adding? It's going to add in 3 new factions. Okay, fun. The Precog Hybrids, the Wood Whisperers, the Martian Terraformers, 2 new Raiders. So the Raiders, I think, are just functioning as the same function as the monsters in Dwellings of Eldervale. Hugely impactful on the gameplay. 15 new development ability cards. Exciting new advances in planetary engineering have made it possible to build developments with different abilities. Cool. So just a couple new cards. Persistence of Memory event deck. Until the next event, ignore something in the cost of modules. Great. Love that. That's always fun to get a little boost to your engine building. Fill in the edges of the galaxy with new half-hex tiles hidden deep in the asteroid belts. lie the mysterious and powerful precursor shrines. Shrines don't just live on the outer edges, they can form in the center. You can place 2 half-hex shrines back-to-back, forming adjacent regions, allowing you to play with all 6 shrines at once. That's cool. And just additional spots with high powers, and then just different tiles that you can swap in and out. So different ways to make the board more modular, more cards. I mean, that seems fairly straightforward in terms of the differences between Andromeda's Edge and the expansion. Free with every pledge, some coasters. There's a little Galactic Cruise crossover one. Sure, that's a cool dice tower, and it's $30. That feels great. I can see why it's been pledged 5,000 times. I think if you like Andromeda's Edge, this almost feels like a no-brainer to me. You've spent $130 on the original campaign anyway. This is just going to add more variability. For $30 for new clans and new abilities, new hexes, all that good stuff. Yeah, that feels like something that I would love in an expansion for a game that I own. Now, if you've played Andromeda's Edge and you don't love it yet, you're still going to have to spend $30, and you're still going to have to spend the shipping on it, right? They have reduced shipping. They're saying Genesis $15 so to get to the US, $15 to get to Canada. So for me, it would be like $60 to add this to my pledge, and if I had Andromeda's Edge, it depends on how much you want those different factions. The original Andromeda's Edge came with, what, something like 8 factions, maybe more, maybe 10. So 3 is a pretty decent uptick in terms of that, like, variability. But again, I'm the type of person who, like, this is a very easy thing to say, yes, I need it for my game. It's very easy to then add to your game and think, yes, now I have the expansion content in here. And for it to not actually elevate your game that much, depending upon how much you actually play Andromeda's Edge, right? Andromeda's Edge has a lot of variability in it to start because it already has a lot of factions, it already has a lot of these tech things. The board itself is modular anyway. And so to add in these new shakeups, while they feel like huge shakeups, they're also not 100% necessary. So it's always that conversation and that thought before you just auto hit back, right? It's good to examine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 factions already. Wow. These were promo factions though, and escalation factions, but 10 factions in the base, right? You probably have a lot of variability, and the faction variability isn't going to be as much as you're expecting. I think with a campaign like this, it's easy to anticipate, yes, these are going to really blow my mind, but unless you're actively playing the game, which I don't think 5,000 people, well, yeah, you know what? I think 5,000 people could be. I take that back. It's a very popular game. People are enjoying it. So, but just a caution before you're going to just hit back. I've got to keep you in check somehow, right? So yeah, that's Andromeda's Edge Genesis. Very straightforward as to what all these little modules and regions do. Very easy to throw all this into the main box. My favorite type of expansion because you can just throw it in the main box and play it with a new player. And I think that's great. Like, that's stuff that I always want in an expansion, personally. Just more of what you already like. It's a perfect expansion for me. So if you're interested, that finishes on the 24th at 3 p.m. That's Wednesday, the 24th. Oh, that's when I'm flying back from Vegas. We will have crowned a winner of the World Series of Board Gaming. You can hey, if you're watching this now, you can tune into coverage on the Dice Tower. I'll be running those streams, and we'll have the semifinals and the finals. It'll be a fun time. So go and drop in the chat that you're from Room and Board. Make me feel good. All right, we're going to move on to this one. Hollywood Dream, the board game. Bring the world of filmmaking to your table. A simple yet smart worker placement game. It's a Japanese... Yeah, these are Japanese characters before I make a fool of myself. Maybe. It looks like some katakana in there. Yes, from Pineapple Games and Board Game Cafe in Tokyo. Haha. Sure, let's watch a video that I'm sure will be weird. As a film production company, players aim to create masterpiece films. Place worker pawns in the action spaces. Give them tasks, get money, make contracts with actors. You don't need to contract an actor. You say you're excited to work for half a hot dog. Get over here. It's for the exposure, and the actors will go, yes, please, we're nothing, we're props, that's it. Funding is essential to making a film, yeah, that's true. You'll get bonus points based upon your faction, essentially. Yeah, the auction where you can get lots of actors at once, just bundle them all together. Yeah, that seems cute. Heavyweight worker placement game where you strategically manage limited actions and budgets to acquire movie scripts and release films. Release your movie using the actor and set pieces, so there'll be different things that you have to collect to make a movie, and then you'll gain money and fans and victory points for making that movie. 10 worker placement spots, but they seem fairly simple, like get money, purchase this type of thing, purchase something else, purchase equipment, get money, look, make contracts, which are just, get actors. Or you can swap out an actor. You can say, you're not working out. I've never been fired from a job. There was some guy, I was a random bike messenger in Shadowhunters, and then I said, hey, and a demon instantly killed me, and I went, ah, I started falling from the mouth. But I wasn't cast in that. The director called my agent the day of its filming. It was saying, I want Chris, get Chris over here. And I was like, okay. I woke up, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come, which is completely absurd. It's also completely absurd for this type of role, because it's just, you're a prop essentially. And then I showed up on set, and the costume person was like, do you know the director? Because he really wanted you. And I was like, I don't know this director whatsoever. I don't know why anyone could have an opinion on who the bike messenger is. And so I feel, and there was also another bike messenger there who was just hired as a stunt guy. And there's like, no, this is the bike messenger. So we just had 2 bike messengers, and we just both died because they didn't want to fire this guy. But I think it was the director getting mad at probably production not taking his opinion into account, and so he decided to use me as a pawn, as a power play, to make a statement to the production saying, no, I'm the director and this is how it's going to be. That's my theory. I never got it confirmed, but hey, I got a day on set and I got paid, so that's pretty good. Rulebook available. Yeah, I think this is going to look fun and probably too expensive because it's $80 Canadian plus shipping, and that's the early bird. And shipping in Canada is going to be, so it'll be like $120 to get this for me, which we already know is not it. But we still like looking at this sort of stuff. Here are things that I like. I like that the turn order, you get bonuses depending upon where you are in the turn order. Love when games do that. I love that you get bonuses every time you release a movie, so it incentivizes you to release movies early, even when they're not perfect. Also think that's great. I love how handsome all the actors are. True to life. You start with a starting script and 2 other movie script. You get 4 workers. Okay, you use the score track as your money marker as well. Good way to conserve components. You start with a sponsor. It's basically your corporation. They'll give you a certain amount of money and a bonus. And then you'll get bonuses every time you make that type of movie. Oh, I do like this as well, is that every spot is going to let you do 2 things, or most spots are going to let you do 2 things, right? You'll get to do these icon effects. You can gain money for going there, or hire things, or refresh the display. Cool. I really like this dual worker placement choice. Yeah, I'll tell you, the games, the Euro games that seem to be on Kickstarter from Japan, generally, more often than not, I think they hit well. Quick auction, you want to get there first if you want to bid last. And so you're anticipating 1 bid, trying to either drive the price up for someone or get it yourself. Yeah, I think it seems very simple. Seems very simple, but from what I can see, pretty decently put together. Way too expensive to get over here. It's something that I'd want to pay $60 for, I'm sure. Oh, but we have 18 backers from the United States. Wow. Yeah, mostly 22 from Japan. Yeah, seems great though. Seems very solid, easy, knows what it's doing, and it's going to do it well. I really like the dual worker placement spaces. I think that's really fun to engage with. Not only are you increasing the choices, but when you go to a spot, you're like, okay, do I want the extra money? Do I want to get an actor? And so and so. Yeah, so if you're interested, that finishes Wednesday, September 25th at 4:18 p.m. Moving along to this one, Helm Slain, a fast, fierce co-op dungeon crawl. The fast-paced campaign dungeon crawl your game nights have been waiting for. Roll dice, slay monsters, avenge Helm Slain. What a horrible, horrible name. Helm's Slain? Why are you doing the double S? Do you hate me? Well, probably. Embark on adventure in this RPG turned into a board game. Helm's Slain? It's just the most awful thing to say. Just say Helm's Deep, like a normal person. Or Helm Slain, at least. Why the double S? That's so rude. Anything else. And literally any other name. Pick any other name, and it's better. In the massacre known as Helm's Slain, in the kingdom of Helm. It's just awful. Props to this voiceover person, or AI voice, but probably voiceover. Honestly, I hate the name so much, I hope there's a VIP pledge. Launch through launch boom! It kind of kind of had that little stink on it. But just because it's launched through Launchboom doesn't mean they did $1 pre-pledge. Or does it? Fantastic. Yeah, we're not going to cover this because it's the worst name imaginable. It's so expensive. And they did the $1 pre-pledge, which, as we've seen with the expensive Launchboom advice of marketing, you know, if they charge friggin' $3,000 or $5,000 and they're making $8,000 goal, you know that goal is not real. Like, all these people are just paying Launchboom for nothing, for bad advice. Yeah, we're not going to cover this, which I'm so happy about because I hated saying the name. We're also not covering Sunday Football Manager again because they also did the $1 pre-pledge. And until somebody can tell me why this is a consumer positive experience, not for the publishers, but it benefits the consumer, I'm certainly never going to be interested. So let's move on. Let's move on to Ecologic Expansions, the rare species and nocturnal animals and base game reprint. Ecologic is a beautiful puzzle game whose mechanics were created to show the relationship between plants, fungi, and animals. Players create complex ecosystems using the cards representing hundreds of living organisms from different habitats. The added expansion adds over 150 species cards, mostly new rare animals and plants, and a new nocturnal animal. I'm sure I've covered this in the past. Ecologic, back in episode 160, we covered it. All right, Chris of the Past, honestly, not my best work. I got distracted by making jokes that I thought were funny at the time, and you know what? They're mildly funny. But Ecologic is essentially a tableau builder that was going for, the base game and the expansions. Just the one expansion is now $160. Oh, okay. So they're just basically building in what the base game was. So the base game was $60, and then they added in the 3 expansions, and now they're making that the base game. So they've just decided, listen, we're not going to pile out these things. You're going to pay $100 for it anyway. You're going to be fine with it. So then we're adding about another $60 on Canadian for you to get this expansion. So €56 for the base and 40 for the expansion. Or, I mean, that's if you get it in the bundle. Or if you get it on solo, it's 70. So €70. So for an additional €30, you can add in that expansion. So there's 16 habitat boards in 5 types, and you're going to pick 4 of those. So you're going to have 4 habitats every game that you can then mix in. Each plant and each thing that you put in will produce biomass if it's a plant, and that will be the amount of stuff that is going to be there that season. So every season you'll have that many resources essentially to use. So you're chaining things together. It's a little bit more like Seven Wonders in a sense where you have prerequisites, but you can only use those prerequisites a certain number of times rather than as many times as you want. In Kavango, you can use them in as many times as you want, right? You're also going to be constantly passing cards to the next player, and so then you're going to be holding on to cards that you want, hopefully receiving cards that will benefit you, holding on to the cards that you want to play, passing up the stuff that you don't want, which I think could be interesting. It's more interesting on this time around. Yeah, and Chris of the Past intuited this correctly, that you can only feed on biomass in that specific habitat. So if I have a lot of winter biomass, I can play winter animals, but I probably couldn't play spring animals because they got to go into a different habitat. And yes, I realized that I just said that spring and winter were different habitats, but you know what? In Canada, they are. You don't know me. You don't know my land. Yeah. I mean, I think it has done well. It has delivered the first time it has delivered. I think this tableau building could be interesting. I just think it's way too expensive, you know? Well, I don't want to pay $115 for a different version of Seven Wonders or Kavango. I think Kavango or Seven Wonders would scratch this itch, or Wingspan would scratch this itch. And so basically it's competing against things that are almost evergreens and are cheaper as well. That's the tough part here. But it is doing well, I think. Oh, it's doing well enough. You know, it's raised €52,000, 85,000 Canadian. So yeah, and they definitely delivered on a decent pace. It was 10 months ago when they were doing their other pledge, and they're doing it now. So yeah, not too bad. Not like over the moon just because of price, but sure. You're just adding more cards to a game that already had a bunch of cards, and you're paying $170 for it. I don't think so, but you do what you want. That finishes on the 25th at 6 a.m. Except for Dwayneski, you do what I tell you. We're moving on along to Best 11, the beautiful soccer management board game. A fantasy football management game for family and friends. Thank goodness. Oh, he's going to get there. He's going to be ready to play soccer, and they're going to play a board game instead. I've seen this movie. Oh no, he was going to the house all along. I thought this was going to be bad, but I think maybe it could be good. I really like the the art style too, and there's no AI. It says right here, no AI. So essentially you want to get the best squad of 11 people, but you'll start out with a hand of cards and you'll have to put one of those people on auction, and then you bid on all the people who are on auction. So you could bid on yourself, maybe, but whatever you bid, I guess we'll check that in the rulebook, but whatever you bid goes to the person who put the bid up there, which is why you probably can't bid on yourself. So you can put people who are incentivized to go up into the middle and hope that you get something juicy in return. I like that you can spend people on people as well as money. It's gonna be 44 bucks. 61. Yeah, that's okay for a little auction game. Let's check out the rules. Unique and secret objectives as well at the end of the game. Cool. The goal of Best 11 is to add 1 keeper card and 10 free agents to the spaces on your manager board and build a team of cards that's worth more points than the other players at the end of 7 rounds. Each round, players will put up cards for auction and bids for cards at auction. Players receive cards to add to their manager board throughout the game. They will choose which cards to keep and which to discard, ultimately creating their Best 11. A player's Best 11 is the best combination of cards they've received that maximize the number of points they'll have at the end of the game. Yeah, I think this looks quite fun. Oh, you have to lock in people on your manager board. I see. Because there's a limited amount of keepers. Cool. So you're racing to make that early decision to grab that keeper that might link up. And at the end of the game, you get 1 point for every money you have, point values on every card, your objective card, and then each stat symbol. So if you have the same color, you will get more points. They all have the same stats because they're a unified team together. Oh no, not the same colors, just the stats that are on them. Cool. I think this game looks great. I think this game looks surprisingly great. It's going to be $80 for me though, right? The shipping to Canada is 25 to 50. Oh, so it could be double, right? You could be $120 for this game. Cost will vary based upon the number of backers from the region. Yeah. Ooh. Oof. Canada, 7 backers. You're probably going to be paying a lot for this game. I mean, I think it looks good. I really do think it looks good. I hope this is one of those sorts of games which gets picked up by a larger publisher. I think it looks quite fun as a simple little bidding game. I kind of wish it was with it not being self-published. I kind of wish it was published by a big publisher. But yeah, I think this looks good. If you're interested, it finishes Thursday, September 25th at 10 a.m. Just a bit too expensive for my taste. We're not going to be covering Airport Empire because once again, they did the $1 pre-pledge and we don't do that sort of thing around here. So we're moving on to Photo Tour. Photo Tour North America. 2 expansions and a reprint. Snap breathtaking shots in new ways, explore epic expeditions, and capture rare wild moments across Alaska and the Yukon in this hit game. Photo Tour. Did I cover something like it? I get it confused with Trailblazer. Snapshot doesn't have photo in it? Wow, is that AI? I don't know. Photo Tour North America, episode 125. Oh, I remember this. Very simple. Right. It's a very easy pick up and deliver game. Backed by 2,100 players in the original campaign. Nice. With 2 expansions. So the core game is very simple. You're going to have a bunch of photos. You're going to pick them up. You're going to get gear, you're going to run to the place where you can take the photo, and you're going to take the photo. Pick up and deliver. Alaska and the Yukon seems like there'll be an additional map that you can just do the same things with, although there's a little sleeve. And then there's the Expedition expansion. Expeditions, gear up, leave the road behind. Takes you off the main board and into focused multi-turn adventures. Collect special gear. Every turn, draw from the dedicated expedition photo deck to build photo sets that match your expedition's unique goal. The more prepared you are with the right photography equipment, the more cards you can draw, boosting your chance of capturing a high-value trail shots with genre tags like landscape, wildlife, etc. Okay, so you have to really be building up the gear, the amount of gear that you have, and then hope that you can hit on a big expedition. You still have to get to that specific spot on the board, like the John Muir Trail, number 16, right? Or number 2 or 6 or whatever it is. Okay, and then Alaska and the Yukon, you'll roll custom wildlife dice to collect animal foreground and background icons. You spend the icons to spend transparent cards, layer them for unique photo compositions that score big and create unforgettable moments in your journal. Like an orca whale bursting forth from this lake. And they'll just give you a bunch more points. Yeah, the all-in pledge is $150 Canadian. 108 US. The deluxe core game is 99 Canadian, 71 US. And with the expansions, the deluxe core game, I mean, it's just $10 cheaper. And there's no option for like a basic version because it's Kickstarter and nobody ever does basic, even though they should. Yeah, I remember this game. I remember this game almost instantly when I looked at Chris from the Past, which was different from Ecologic. So I don't know if that means that it's simpler and was easier to stick into my brain. It's more memorable and popped out because I thought it was cool. I don't think I thought it was cool. I thought it was pretty basic, you know? It seems like a fairly basic game, definitely in that family weight, definitely in that gateway style, which I don't really need anymore or play anymore. I like travel-themed games. Like, I really like looking in the art deathmatch, which is out, or it's out on Wednesday, I think. The John Muir Trail was kind of cool to look at. So I appreciate this idea of this, like, getting these sites that are happening. I just, yeah, I think it's fine. I think it would look fine. It seems to be doing well. It's doing well enough that he came back for a couple more expansions. Let's see. The 2 expansion bundle, 555 people are backing it. So if you assume that 2,100 backers, that's about 25% of people are coming back to the well to get more, which is pretty good. And 672 new backers, so sure. Picking up another 140,000, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think it's just too simple for my taste, and I don't think the new expansions are going to add anything. It's not something I would ever want to pay $150 for, plus shipping, 160, 180, you know? But yeah, it seems nice, seems fine. It'll likely be very relaxing. So if you need a relaxing game, you can check it out. That finishes Friday, September 26th at 7 p.m. Crowdfunding nerds, I like them way better than Launch Boom. Okay, next up we've got Legends of the Arena, knockout brawling board game. Legends of the Arena is a board game for 2 to 6 players, inspired by Super Smash Bros. Knock your foes out of the arena and claim victory. This kind of reminds me of, oh, what was that bad game? Not that this is bad, but I think it has the same kind of decision space. It kind of reminds me of that one game that Lucky Duck had. They were just giving away. It was like a 18 card game where everybody had 5 cards. You were samurais and you were kind of facing off against each other. You'd all both play a card face down and say, hey, did you anticipate my move? You did. Oh, I lose. That's what this game seems like. It's like 3 cards to play face down, and so you're programming, right? Like it's programming, hoping that you can anticipate what your opponent will do on friggin' turn 3. Feels like it is not going to be fun to program. How is this a 40-page rulebook? Oh, because it's small, because you're flipping through a bunch of stuff. Highest speed goes first, just trying to anticipate your opponent. I really don't like programming. So that's pretty much all it is. You want to push people off the side, but you have to figure out how that works in programming. I guess it'll emulate the button mashing of Smash Bros., where you don't know what's happening. You're like, I hope they come near me so that I can let off my attack. How much? 99? Oh, God. Okay, 39 for the base. 8 awesome legends, 54 Canadian. I get it. I just think it doesn't look good. 27 US to shipping to Canada, but 9 to the US. So if you're looking at it, it's like 48 for this base game. If you like programming, you can check it out. I don't think there's much more here other than, oh, you're programming 3 cards at once. See what zany things happen. I don't think it's going to last for very long. That finishes Friday, September 26th at 8:05 p.m. Your interest isn't going to last, I mean. Moving along, we've got Endangered Australia. Endangered goes down and Indy. Sorry, I need to put my Australian accent on. My apologies. Okay. Australian Chris, you got this, right? Yeah. Endangered goes down Indy. 3 new scenarios, 2 new ambassadors, and 1 new rule. Plus other fancy peasies. My brother-in-law's Australian. That's why I can do a pretty good Australian accent. You know, Ben. Shout out to Ben. Ben's Australian, and that's a perfect impression. You don't know how you sound, right? Your voice sounds different to other people. I'm an actor. I do impressions very well. That's a perfect impression. I remember seeing this. All right, so you're just adding in new species to save in Endangered. You get your tokens. You got the Great Barrier Reef. You have a Prime Minister role. Yeah, base game is required to play, though, which makes sense. If you don't know how to play Endangered, your mission remains the same. You have unique species mechanics. Every species is different, but essentially you'll roll dice. You'll place them on action spots, manipulate the board. As the game goes on, you're going to be adding actions to the play area, which will develop your team's capabilities. Work together to form the best skill set. Encourage the formation of mating pairs to increase the population. The environment will degrade, fires, rising temperatures, destruction will spread. You'll roll the dice to see where it lands. You'll win the game if you can get 4 more yes votes from your ambassadors in 1 or 2 voting years. Yeah, and just like Pandemic, you all have special ability cards as well. They have a bunch of copies of the base game in the US, and they're like, hey, you'll have to face import fees if you want it. So it'd be $118, then plus shipping. Shipping to the US is $5 for the naturalist, or 15 or 19, 33 to Canada. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a different version of Pandemic. I like the theming. I think that's cool. I'm sure fans of Endangered will enjoy the extra scenarios. For me, having yet to play Endangered, it's not really motivating me to to grab it all. I like the meeples, sure. Dice allocation is interesting because you have that inherent randomness involved in it, but not enough for me to really pull the trigger. But hey, I'm happy that it exists. Clearly, it's just them pushing out pre-orders or whatever because it was a $1,000 goal. Grand Gamers Guild is established pretty significantly, so that I imagine it'll hit a decent availability. That finishes Friday, September 26th at 9 p.m. All right, we're going to check out this one quickly. We've got scenery. Scenery, height differences determine the Alps scenery. Layout hiking trails with fabulous views. Sure. A tile line game? Puzzly tableau building game about the consequences of height differences in landscape. Okay. Consequences for nature, mountains, waterfalls, cliffs, and animals, flowers, lakes, sun, and shadow by adding the optimal gold tiles or the expansion set. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you're going to be getting different tiles, which will score based upon their elevation, depending on how you want to do it. Scoring seems a bit... You're going to be adding your elevations together, and you're also going to be in this central marketplace where you have a marker, and you can take the tiles that are in front of you. And whatever tile you take, you can then take the tiles that are in front of you there. You reposition your arrow, but other people are going to be gobbling up stuff in the market as well, which is kind of interesting. So you're competing in a tactical way for these tiles, trying to figure out what are the best tiles to take, denying other people and other players these tiles, and then moving forward and grabbing your own. €27, 44 Canadian. That's pretty good. And then shipping to Canada is another €26. Woof. Same to the United States. So it'd be like $87, $90 Canadian. UK, it's 17, 12 to Slovakia, 12 to Italy. So you really want to be in the EU if you want to contemplate getting this game. I think it looks fine. Again, it's not something that would excite me wildly or even would fill a void in my collection, really. I don't really see the point. Many other games this week are way better than this, but this is passable, I suppose. I think I would get pretty bored after one play. But if you're interested, the finish is Sunday, September 28th at 4 p.m. Moving on to Overgrown, which unfortunately we're not going to cover as well. Just once again showing the wild variability of using Launch Boom and the $1 pre-pledge. They're going to be out $3,000 to $5,000 for this game that they will be in the hole for having made. But hey, at least it got made, so good for them. Let's move on. Let's move on to this one. Landmarks of the Lost Atlas. Return to the Railways of the Lost Atlas with a new modular expansion. I keep on highlighting this for if you are a creator, a small-time creator, and you're like, nah, this is the way to do it. It's not always the way to do it, and you potentially will lose a bunch of money because I don't think that Launch Boom is good at their job. I think they probably just take your money and say, good luck to you. Anyway, let's check this one out. Return to Railways of the Lost Atlas with the new modular expansion. I don't know if I've ever seen this, but it looks like an 18XX game. Oh, I did cover it in episode 109. Okay, well, Chris of the Past saw this as just another 18XX game, an accessible 18XX game. I mean, great video. Makes me want to look into it. And then I look into it and I'm like, oof, I don't care. Mainly because I don't care about 18XX games, really. It's $80 now. It was $70, so a little bit of an uptick, but that was 2 years ago, so that makes sense in terms of rising costs. I think in this, you're just going to add in a bunch of new modules, right? You're going to add in a landmarks module, so to add some flavor and extra strategy to your maps. New minors, new majors, more options. Guilt-free, take that. And then events that will determine different strategies. I like events as they happen. If your whole game is just, here's an event, let's see what happens, no. But if there's a lot going on and events modify the types of actions that you should be taking or the optimal things that you can take, I don't mind that. I love that there's just a literal void as a landmark. That's funny. Yeah, I really like this. This section, though, we're pleased to share we've had some fantastic reviews of Railways of the Lost Atlas. You can check out some text reviews and on Board Game Geek, and then videos of people playing it as well. 18XX are all about manipulating stock and running around on the board, and this seems like a standard version of that. If you wanted to get into 18XX and you weren't sure as to the place to start, I think this could be a decent place to start for sure. That finishes Tuesday, September 30th at 11 a.m. Also in episode 116 was Gilded Realms. It's like a bunch of reprint. It's a reprint week. It's a $1 pre-pledge and a reprint week. Same week as Wondrous Creatures. Oh, I remember this. Oh yeah, you're always building stuff. All right, Chris of the Past quite enjoyed it. I'm remembering it. I'm remembering this idea of constantly building up your buildings. You also will be choosing your stance choosing what you can do as like the main focus on your turn, but otherwise it's going to be fairly solo driven in terms of building up that kingdom. What I think is cool is that they have smashed what they were doing last time as well. And I always find that with an international print or an expanded print of something, that's always interesting. Or maybe it's just because they're charging friggin' $350. What? Yeah, it was 130 Canadian is what they're charging for the base game now. That's a pretty decent uptick. I think it was only like 91 or something last time. So they've really jacked up the price. Shipping to Canada, 29 to 39, 19 to 29. Yeah, go check out episode 116 if you want more information, really. Other than it's a solid kingdom builder. I think it's still too expensive. I thought it was expensive last time and it's gone up in price. Simultaneous play. You have this progression of cards that will have a timer on them in which it can then upgrade your own kingdom. So if you like that idea of that timer, that progression, that sort of StarCraft of like, oh, you've got to be waiting, you're waiting, and now they're ready. Conveyor belt style games, you can check this out too. Yeah, like I said last time, it seems all right. I think they've just upped the price in terms of the deluxeification. So for all you crazy deluxe people out there, well, run away. This finishes on the 30th at 12 p.m. Just a couple more that we're going to cover. Number one is Towers, or number penultimate is Towers of Evil, a tower defense print and play game. Raise dark towers, unleash their wrath, and defend your castle as the Lord of Darkness. Ooh, kill those adventurers. Build a variety of towers. Fight against different combinations of heroes. And murderize them. Create your own soul vessel path using fellow heroes' souls. Fun. I think RAR did that fun kaiju game, right? Kaikoro? Yeah, that was one of my favorite bits about you breaking a kaiju's heart. I had fun recording that. Now, I just yell at you. We've changed. Not for the better. 1 to 4 players, a tower defense, roll and write. You gotta fight off these adventurers that are moving forward. Oh, you can get all of their stuff for 38 Canadian. That's sweet. Or you can just get the base for 8 Canadian, which is 5 US. Survive all 8 waves and score more points than your rivals to win. So you roll the dice, players take turns to pick 2. Everyone shares a community dice. Okay, so you're drafting dice. Sweet. Oh no, you decide what people show up. Okay, so it'll have that tiny towns effect where on my turn I can choose for the mages to come because I have a lot of mage defense towers and you don't have mage defense towers, right? Like that'll be the play and the interchange, which I think is a good interchange. You can use the dice to build more towers, activate towers, or gain gold and upgrade your towers. You lose the game if 3 heroes get to your space. Oh yeah, download the rulebook. Often print and plays don't have rulebooks, but it's always fun when they do. 2 more weeks, and then I get to take a little break. I'm starting to feel it, y'all. Because I gotta push to get ahead, and then I gotta come back and immediately then get ahead again, and then I'll be able to take a nice little break. I lied. No, it is drafting dice. Great. You're going to have 2 dice each. I love a dice drafting roll and write. It just feels so much more interactive than everybody just chooses numbers, you know? I see. So each dice can make a single tower. Each tower will show what its base level is and what its upgrade level is. They all do different things, different attacks. I think this seems like a fun tower defense style game. You want to be able to activate your towers at the right time to murderize all the heroes coming towards you, dealing enough damage to get them. Cool. Seems great. Honestly, I think this company, RAR, has made the best print and play games on Kickstarter. So if you haven't played any of their roll and write stuff, I just think from a mechanics point of view, they have always consistently, like whenever I've seen their stuff, I remember Kaikoro from 3 years ago, and not just because it was a funny bit, but since then it sort of stood out to me, and this is no different. So I think this actually looks quite good. That finishes Tuesday, September 30th at 4 p.m. And finally, we're going to check this out, Dunderheads, because we're not covering Meerkat Kingdom, again, because Meerkat Kingdom decided to do the $1 pre-pledge. So Dunderheads will be our last game that we're checking out this week. Choose your hero, build your deck, and battle with Yahtzee-inspired dice rolls in this casual RPG full of luck, strategy, and fun. Thank goodness it has the fun in there. Now, am I sorry that this isn't office-themed? Yes. Collect 10 gold coins, you win. 3 rolls to activate your items to kill the monsters to get points. Got it. Oh, deck building. So I guess you're drawing your hand of cards every time in terms of the items that you have. Oh, and it looks like the dice are from 1 to 3, which mitigates the luck as well, which is nice. 33% chance of hitting whatever you need. Feels a lot better. Designed for quick 15-minute games, perfect for younger players. Sure. You get a starter pack for $15. Slim version of the standard game with fewer dice and cards, perfect for travel. Sure. Or you can get everything for $25. Nice. 6 attack dice. You pass them around. 4 crit dice. Add a bunch of dice if you wanted a bunch of dice. But I think this, the standard game, that's great. Oh, how lovely. I just want to know what the deck building aspect is. That's what I want to know. Oh, 1's being the most common while 3 is the most rare. Okay, so there are 3 1s, 2 2s, 1 3 on the dice. Oh, come on. You are explaining things, so that's fine. But, okay, these are your champion cards. So everybody has a normal champion and the number of dice that you get to roll. Cool. Yeah, I just want to know how you get dice, how you get cards. I have to watch a video to do that. Jeez. It just seems like at the end of your turn or at the beginning of your turn, you get to draw a card. And so you're drawing random cards off the top of different decks, hoping that you get something interesting. So not really deck building. It's not like you're cycling through these cards. It's draw a random card and hope for the best, eh? I really love how this full playthrough, they're not explaining anything. That's great. You wonder why I like the rulebook so much. Yeah, not so much of anything in the deck building aspect of it. It's just draw random cards, which I don't mind. Like there's some fun to it. I just think calling this deck building is incorrect and sets a poor expectation. You'll have random dice sets. If you want to be able to choose the type of items that you have, then you probably won't like this. But if you like just getting a random cards and saying like, hey, can I roll the dice on this and hit this correctly, pushing your luck in terms of what's going to deal the most damage versus not. You're pushing your luck and saying, yeah, I'm going to kill a weak monster. I'm going to kill a strong monster because I really think I can roll these 3s. Yeah, 25 is nice. 25 is nice. I think there's a little bit too much luck in terms of how this is built. I wish there was a little bit more deck building, and then I might be interested in pulling the trigger. But 25 is great. 35, and it ships to anywhere in the world. It says 20 to 30 as their estimated shipping, though. So could be double, could be up to 70 to get to my door. And then when I phrase it like that, I go, yeah, no, I'm good. But if you're interested, that finishes Tuesday, September 30th at 5 p.m. And that is it. That's it for the week. Now, every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the thing I think is the most interesting, and the pick for you being the thing I think if you got, you would regret it the least. A pretty good week this week. It has been a slew of bad weeks, and I don't think this was a bad week. But let's go through with a little grunt down to remind ourselves about what came before. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. Meh, nah, absolutely not. Nah, yeah, meh, and absolutely not. Okay. I definitely have a pick for me. It's a tough pick for me, but yeah, I think I do have the pick for me. I just don't know if there's a pick for you. Sure, I think there is. Okay, I got them locked in. My pick for me is going to be best 11. This is very surprising to me. I wasn't expecting much out of this game, but I think it's just a very simple auction style game, 7 rounds to get your people out there. I like the timing of having to commit to people beforehand and commit to those different symbols and seeing how other people are building out their tableaus will encourage you to put forward symbols for them to bid for the symbols that 2 people are going for. I think you probably need 4 people for this to shine, but yeah, I think this looks nice, and it's not a horror. Okay, yeah, it's a pretty bad price, and I'm not going to get it. But I think mechanically, again, this looks like the most interesting, so best 11 would be my pick for me. And I think my pick for you is going to just be Towers of Evil. I think this looks like a very nice print-and-play game. I don't think anything else is doing enough to earn the cost, but I think this, as like a little tower defense game, as a roll and write, I think it looks good. So I'm happy to make that the pick for you. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're fantastic. I hope your lives are going swimmingly. I don't have anything else to say to you other than my name is Chris George, in case you forgot. And I was supposed to say something here, but like a catchphrase, but I don't have a catchphrase. So close. YouTube apparently is doing this new thing called hype. I don't know. But if you see a little hype button down below, click that hype button and the like button as well. If you've made it to this far, you must be a fan of the channel, and apparently it's going to rocket me to success and put my videos to other people. So hype them up, please and thank you. Every single video I put out. You can hype up 3 videos a week, and guess what? I put out 3 videos a week. It's almost like it was made exactly for me. So do that for me if you don't mind. I would really appreciate it. And if you don't, like some people were saying that I don't press the like buttons, I don't subscribe. That's okay too, I guess, but you just it's really the bare minimum of helping me out. It is like the literal bare minimum you can do. for me spending hours and hours and hours and it being 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm still trying to get through this and trying to edit it for you. So like just click one little button for me. I'd say that's a fair exchange. I don't know. You let me know if I'm asking too much, but I think it's a fair exchange, especially if you've made it to the end of the video and you haven't turned it off yet. So appreciate you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.